Hey, it's MK and I am back with another Color Craze combination for you guys today. This is the combination that Janet and I have picked out for today. I'm also pairing this with Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches, and I've gone and done it again, and I used Day 25s by Allison Davis as opposed to the Day 24 that I was supposed to. I am so super sorry, you guys. Okay, so from these three alpha stickers, the first two are from P13, and this one here is a thicker set called Doll. I absolutely love this green thickers. I created my title, and then I took this blender pen in basic black by Stampin' Up! And just colored my two P13 ones to make the exact same color, so that way they all matchy-matchied. And then my ampersand sign came from actually Fifth and Monaco set by Pink Paisley, I believe. Then inside my little bin here, I have all sorts of snowflakes. Now, the chipboard ones are super old snowflakes from close to my heart back in the day when they came on 12 by 12 chipboard sets. And then the wood grain ones, I believe, were a Simon Says stamp one I got in a kit a long time ago. I could be mistaken, you guys. I apologize. The packaging is long gone. I've had them forever, and I am just trying to use up what I have in my stash, in all honesty. Okay, so I have 3 photos. I also have this paper that I created on a Vicky Bouton foundation paper. It is just using the little sprinkles from Close to My Heart and spritzing it with water, and I got this beautiful colored paper. Matches perfectly, and I've been dying to use it. Also, from Vicky Bouton, I have 2 of her black stripes. One is from the Storybook collection, and the other one is from the Color Study. And I'm not sure which one I'm going to use, but I think it's going to be the one with the white stripes as opposed to black on black. And then, of course, I have a Close to My Heart white cardstock as my base because my colors are black, white, and green. Yep, I know that there is a little bit of color in this black and white stripe, but by the time that I cut the stripes that are needed for my layout, you won't even be able to tell that that other color is there. Plus what I put on top of my layout also to covers the color that is in the black and white stripes. My photos are just of a day in the life of Nevada. Seriously, it hailed for probably the majority of the morning, and then before lunchtime, it was already gone. Like, it was a hailstorm, like never ending, no end in sight, hailstorm, awful. I just, awful stuff. And then I look out my window the next minute, and it just looked like it rained. Seriously, that's the weather in Elko. Yay. Actually, I should say in Spring Creek. I don't actually live in Elko. I live in Spring Creek, Nevada, which is just south. It's about 20 miles south of Elko, Nevada. But because of the elevation difference, which is weird because it's anywhere between 400 and 1,000 feet difference. But I also live in a valley. So we've got lots of hills and valleys in Spring Creek, where Elko is in one big, huge, giant valley. So yes, it's surrounded by mountains, but those mountains are closer to Spring Creek than they are to Elko. So Elko doesn't see the weather like we do out in Spring Creek. But also because of the highs and the lows, it's really weird because this section of Spring Creek might see different weather than this section. And then I also want to contribute my weather because of the lake that I live next to. So I feel like I'm in a cold spot because the lake keeps it nice and cool compared to the rest of the area. So anyways, just thought I'd throw that out there. I don't know, I'm not a weatherman, and 95% wrong is their motto. So one of the things I wanted to add to this layout that was not really in the sketch are these really cool stamps that I have from Close to My Heart. Again, super old set. You guys have no clue. Just showing you the numbers. So if you want to look it up to see if some of them are still available, you can. But they're just, I think they're just called Snow Flurries. I love this set because it's just a nice, beautiful flourish going on with a mix of dots and snowflakes. But I'm going to stamp them, which is beyond everything I've ever known. I'm going to stamp them in green. I really just wanted the flourish, in all honesty. I didn't really want the snowflakes, but they happened to come as a set. Clearly, I didn't want to cut the snowflakes off. So I thought I'd stamp it right in the middle where the photos are going to go first to see if I even liked it in green. I am using Mode Lawn for, no, I'm not. I lied. I'm using Twisted Citron is the color that I am using for my flourish. And I stamp it. I try to twist and turn it, the stamp like I normally do, so that way it doesn't look like you use the same stamp 3 different spots. For this type of stamp, it doesn't really work that way, but I still get the effect I was going for. I still get that little flourish, but it wasn't enough for me. I felt like I was still missing something. So I'm going to take my green blending brush and go ahead and lightly ink over my stamping. So that way it looks like a solid stamp, and then you've got that haze around it. I'm very lightly coloring around all of my inking spots. So again, I have that haze. Now, if I would have known where the inking was going to go, I probably would have inked first, did this haze first and then stamped. That way it was a little bit darker. Also, if I would have had I do have one of those misty tools. If I was thinking, but again, this is all afterthought effects going on here. If I was thinking, I would have taken the stamp, inked it, stamped it once, then did this blending technique, then stamped it again so it was darker. I wasn't thinking at all. So I am going to show you guys the close-ups that you can see that they're not just big green blobs. That you can see the stamped images pretty well. And then I'm going to take this beautiful Dina Wakley gloss spray. I have no idea what color it is, but it's this gorgeous neon green. I love neon green, you guys. I just don't find enough excuses to be able to use it. So here's the close-up. So you guys can see that stamped image is very well seen, even though far away in the video, it's not really seen at all. But I just did a few splatters under my layout because I wanted them to be in the background. I did not want them to be in the foreground. So that's just how my brain thinks. Sometimes I splatter first, sometimes I splatter after. It just depends on the effect that I am looking for, and it's a subtle effect. So it's in all honesty, it's whether or not you want it on top of everything or underneath everything. That's all there is to it. And this one I wanted underneath. Especially it being green, because just to me, green and snowflakes don't go. But I'm pushing out farther from my comfort zone because honestly, I just kept thinking black and white, black and white, black and white, and then these photos that had the green trees in them, they were perfect, absolutely perfect. I couldn't even tell you how much more perfect they were. Coming in, and I thought, oh my gosh, that is perfect to bring in this little bit of green. And then I got all these white snowflakes. Gives me an excuse to finally use these really big snowflakes because in the sketch, you can see all these little flower clusters behind. And when I picked out my snowflakes at first, what I did was I counted the flowers to see how many I was going to need. And when I had the 4 flowers going on, or I should say snowflakes going on across the top, I really didn't like it. I felt like it was a little clustered, a little bit too much. So I took out the 4th one and left that gap. And I plan on filling the gap up with smaller flowers instead of having just the large one. It was the larger one that I did not like. And I did spray the white snowflakes with white Dina Wakley spray gloss. In fact, I sprayed even my wood pieces so that way everything is white. I did spray them white so that way they were glossy. It wasn't the fact that they weren't already white, because they were, and I could have left them exactly like that. That is one of the things I loved about Close to My Heart's chipboard, is that they always were in white instead of that, it's not even a khaki color. It's more like a gray cardboard. I'm not sure, you guys. But I do like the fact that Close to My Heart always started off white, so you got the true color if you were to ink it with any of their ink colors, or anybody else's ink colors for that matter. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start gluing down all of my snowflakes straight to the page. And my page did end up getting a little warpy because I had, I added the splatters for one, which I didn't think was going to warp my page that much, but it really ended up warping it that much. And then my photos are on the warpy side because the the paper that I used for the photo mat ended up being super warpy. In fact, if you guys have ever seen me do that type of paper, making that type of paper with the sprinkles, it requires a ton of water. And what I do is I put it on a glass mat that I can move. I have a memory keepers that's a little bit bigger than a 13 by 13. And then that way I can set it off to the side to dry at least 30% of the way. So that way I can flip it and dry it some more, or I'll flip it, wipe down the backside because it does get really super wet. And if the back stays wet, then it'll never dry. But it needs to stay dry enough to where, or off to the side enough, so that way it can get drier. And then I can start flipping it and wipe off the extra the wetness on the glass mat and keep flipping it and flipping it. But I don't ever put my heat tool to it. I just set it off to the side and dry it, because if I was to put my heat tool to that and it being that wet, oh my goodness, I would never get a 12 by 12 piece of paper out of it, to be honest. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just glue down all of my stars, or I'm sorry, they're snowflakes. And what I do is I start with the largest ones, just other than the chipboards. And so on my wood veneer, I start with the largest ones and I just start laying them down where I might possibly want them. And then once I figure that out, I glue them down. Then I move to the next biggest ones, lay them out where I think I want them, and then start gluing them down. I'm not even looking at the sketch at this point because I'm no longer using the same elements. I've got my stripes, I've got my main elements going on, and now I'm just filling the gaps where I feel like I need to fill them. Now the ones on the bottom right were an add-on. I actually left them there without actually gluing anything down because I wasn't sure if I liked them because they weren't in the sketch. So it's one of those when you start adding to, but you're not really sure. I kind of let it sit there and seed for a little bit to see if I like it, to see if it's not is it an eyesore or is it pleasing to the eye? And so I don't know that until I just leave it there and let it sit for a little bit. So other than that, I glue it down when I'm done. Now I'm going to take some white Dina Wakley gloss spray and go ahead and just splatter on top. What's really cool is the splatter effect on top of that green. Now you don't really see it white on the white cardstock, but when it hits the green and then it adds to that Vicki Boutin paper, oh my gosh, it is so perfect. I absolutely love how it just added to the background and all of my clusters, especially that one large cluster going across the top of my photos. So that is my photos, or that is my layout for today. I did kind of do a play on words. Instead of here 1 minute and gone the next, I say hail 1 minute and gone the next. So my title is a play on words, which I thought was pretty clever, but you know, nobody else has to like it. There's that great effect with the white sprinkle on top of the green in the background. I am glad that I added that green in the background just for a little bit more of the green. Anyways, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Be sure to hop on over to Janet's channel, Galaxy Girl Creations. Her link is down below, and see what she is doing with this color combination, as well as check out the 2 links that I have down below for Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches. One is for all the gals that are joining us on the YouTube hop, which, oh my gosh, have you guys seen the amount of videos that are in that playlist? Fabulous, fabulous resource for all of these layouts. Amazing, you guys. Thank you, Christy. And then also too, she has a Facebook group, and I posted that link down below so that way you can go and see everybody that is posting. You go to the album section in the Facebook group, click on round 10, which is the one that we are currently on right now, and you just go and you scroll through, you click on the sketch you want to see inspiration for, and you see everybody's take in the comments down below that specific sketch. It's awesome. And there's all 9 rounds, and then the one before the 10th round is the best of, because Christy has just been doing a fabulous job. All right. Thank you so much, you guys, and I will check you all tomorrow, I believe. Yeah, tomorrow. See ya.